that I'm bugging cause I'm thugging, cool. But when there's trouble, I'm the one you come running to. Catch 22s is nothing new. Can't win if you lose. I ain't tripping, just don't slip whatever you into. Just walk it how you talk it, never pretend to. All that he said, she said, got him filled with lead, now he's dead. No place to escape once the animosity's flames are fed. Between these wannabes and police, there's no proper place for me to be at ease. Cause
get low and behold, what's happening? What's happening? Top of the morning, that goes for the evening and afternoon too. Hopefully you're making the best of your day. You're getting everything you feel like you deserved. You know what I'm saying? I'm staying consistent, persistent with this thing because I got some more of it. You know what I'm saying? But when you got the time, or if you have the time, I want to chop it to you about education real quick and how I see it. You know what I'm saying? And how it affects our daily lives. You know what I'm saying? Throughout society. So first, of course, I want to say everything is what you make it, especially in this current day, like in society and life, period. Everything is what you make it. That goes for education too. And I want to submit this to you too, you know what I'm saying? Every day you're going to be educated. Every day you get up, breathe, you know what I'm saying? Carry on with your day. You're observing, you know what I'm saying? You're being influenced. Whether you buy into the influences or not, give way to the influences or not, you're being educated. Now you can also choose that which educates you or where you're getting your education from, but sometimes there isn't a choice. Perfect example, school, the educational system. When you were young, you know, elementary, middle school, high school, you didn't have a choice in the curriculum, you know what I'm saying? And what good does that do the young one in their formative years, you know what I'm saying, to be educated on something that's not going to be effective in their reality in life when they become adults? I never got that, you know? And you're not talking to a disgruntled student who couldn't, you know, shape up and fit the bill, you know what I'm saying? I was pretty decent in school when I was younger, you know? And nothing against those who were getting F's and D's and all that too, because I could see why you would, you know what I'm saying? The information is bogus. So I feel you, but what I'm trying to tell you is, when I was young, it's about memory. The educational system is about memory. You have to remember and regurgitate what they feed you. You know what I'm saying? And I had a pretty good memory when I was young. Not a shot at anybody who didn't get the grades, of course, because there's different factors as to why children throughout the educational system don't get the grades, you know? But before I got kicked out, I was getting good grades. I could memorize what they was feeding me, put it back on the page, pass the test. It was cool, you know? But that's not conducive to gaining wisdom, you know what I'm saying, understanding. Because education, of course, there's good and bad to it, you know? And the education that is not your choice, in this society, depending on who you are, what you identify as a part of, you know what I'm saying, it's not in your best interest, you know? The education isn't for you to thrive in society. Because this country's educational system is annexed, you know what I'm saying? Is that the word? Attached to, conjoined with society as far as commerce, you know, business, you know, the way the world operates, production, manufacturing, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of bad now, but it's still that same philosophy as far as keeping the country running. You need to educate the people a certain way to keep everything going and flowing as it should, as they believe it should be, you know? So that's why education in formative years is important, you know what I'm saying? And for those who don't have a choice and have to, you know, regurgitate what they're being fed to pass and graduate and stuff like that, it's incumbent on those who can provide a different perspective to share that perspective, you know? Because again, you're gonna be educated daily. When the little ones go to school, you know what I'm saying? Elementary, middle, high school, they're getting educated. And if you agree with what I said earlier, that education is not gonna benefit them. So, if it's in you to do so, you know what I'm saying? And you got something to tell the shorties, the little ones, you should share a different perspective. Because as they get older and older, they're gonna start to question more, and they're gonna start to realize that the information is bogus. You know? It's bogus. And why do I feel like that's important? Because as I said to you before, you're gonna be educated daily in some way. As long as your eyes are open and you're going through life, you're gonna be educated by something. I feel as though we should choose, you know what I'm saying, how we use our education, you know what I'm saying, how we direct it. And then also we should choose what we're being educated by, you know what I'm saying, how we're being educated. I feel like we should utilize that little pro-choice thing, you know what I'm saying, all those pro-choice people, you know what I'm saying. We should utilize that in all things, you know, pro-choice in all things. Like, you have the right to decide how your life goes, what you do, what you don't do, what you will and won't accept, all that. You have the right to that, and I'm for that. You know what I'm saying? Abortion, all that. I know they had a movement for that and all that, but we could probably discuss that later. Anyway, we should choose what educates us, where we get our education, you know? And then in cases where those who are being educated cannot choose their education, present a different perspective, you know? Present a different perspective, and there's nothing wrong with that. You see? At least to balance it out, because the formative years are important, you know? Why do you think they made it that way? Because the formative year, what you learn when you're younger, that's what you're gonna step on, that's what you're gonna apply. You know, education should be applicable, something that you could do practically, you know what I'm saying? Because just the imparting of information is not, you know, education. That's sharing of knowledge. When you decide to invest, you know what I'm saying, your steps, invest the education in your steps is what I'm trying to tell you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If you invest your education in your steps, that's the benefit of education. You know what I'm saying? That's how it can be beneficial. Very important, because it's all about the action. You can go and learn and read and study 1,000 things, 1,000 books, 1,000,000, whatever articles, all that. You know what I'm saying? If you can't apply, before you can even share it with somebody, you know what I'm saying? Before you can even share it, if you can't apply what you've been learning or studying or been educated by, what's the point of that education? Because everything should be manifested, everything should be produced. Everything you put in, at least. And that's why I feel like there's so much hostility, because what's going in is what's coming out. Or what's not going in is coming out. You know what I'm saying? But if you work on self, you educate yourself with things that are beneficial for self, you know, the education becomes a major thing, because everything is what you make it. Everything, you know? Now, in cases where education is shaping your view for the negative, all experiences are necessary in life. Everything has to be fluid, like, because time continues. Everything has to continue going, and in that fluidity, something might hit you. You know what I'm saying? Something might come to you that you got to grapple with. That's a part of life, you know. But to me, that's education, because that's practical. If you decide to pull from that experience, you know, that's practical experience, educating you and shaping your understanding. Because how you're educated dictates how you proceed in life. Again, why do you think they have it like that, where they got our kids when they're young up until they're, you know, damn near adults? Why do you think they want to control the education? Because those informative years, how you educate, you know what I'm saying, or how you're educated is how you proceed in life. You know what I'm saying? If you want robots, you have to get the robots who are really human beings. You have to train them to be robots young, and then once they get to a certain, you know, development in their mental state, you've already controlled from the formative year times, you know what I'm saying? In their formative years, you've been in control of the mental. Then when they get here, you don't have to worry about their steps, their actions, because your education, again, is how you proceed in life. That's why it's very important. You see what I'm saying? Like, I forgot who said this, but it's real. Educate yourself, fool. Like, for real, educate yourself and choose your education. And then on top of that, after you've chosen your education, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully it's beneficial to you. From that point, you decide how to apply that education. And that is very important to say, I feel, you know? And let me tell you why. When it comes to those of mine, like those who share my struggle, you know what I'm saying, that share ancestors with me, you know? Education was a major hindrance in our progression in this society. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about the lack thereof, because that was important too. As far as that was important in stripping us of our humanity as well, the lack of education or the ability to educate ourselves. But I'm talking about education itself, how we were educated. You know what I'm saying? Has been a big reason why we're in this predicament and remain in this predicament. If you see the predicament, you feel what I'm saying. If not, life goes on and keep living your life. It's all good. But if current events and things like that affect you, or if you're tuned into that kind of stuff, that's why we haven't raised up from this position, or the position we've been in. It's been like a gradual uptick, you know what I'm saying? But I feel as though if we all agree that we want something different, something more, that should just be a reality. And again, the education is making, you know what I'm saying, the differences of ideologies, perspectives, you know what I'm saying, different ways of maneuvering, all that. The education, it caused separation. Their education caused our separation. You know what I'm saying? They lost control and depriving us of education and keeping us divided, you know? Then, when they could no longer do that, you know what I'm saying? Once we started to, you know, become a tight-knit group, then they implemented education. Now I need to control this, you know what I'm saying? I need to make this work for me, kind of thing, you know? Is it wrong? Depending on who you ask, you know what I'm saying? What's fair in life? It's just the way things went. But knowing that, you should know how to proceed beyond that point. Education. History education, you feel me? And we all knew that. I'm not saying nothing nobody knew, you feel me? Your family will tell you, you know, if you are close to your family or even old heads you might talk to, they'll tell you how things was and how they still are and how they changed, depending on who you talk to. And again, that goes to that conditioning. You're educated to be conditioned a certain way, because conditioning can go either way. You see? It's a matter of what you're being conditioned for. So I believe the educational system as it stands now is conditioning our youngs, you know, our youngins and jits and stuff like that, to be conditioned for a certain reason in society. Do you feel me? That being said, you know what I'm saying? The opposite conditioning, which is life, experiences, hardships, you know what I'm saying? If you don't buy into what they're feeding in this system right here, you'll be conditioned in a different direction. But as you are educated, you are conditioned. As you experience life, you are conditioned. That's why it's important to pick your education properly, or what you choose to be educated by properly, you know? There should be sincerity in that education, because education can cripple your self-esteem, your joy, your happiness, your optimism. Again, referring back to the educational system, how it stands now. All the lies and the BS and your ancestors were lower than and they were always this and they never were this and everybody that stood up got killed and all that they feed to our children young, as they grow. Again, they're being conditioned to see a certain thing. The morale is low because of how the education is being fed to them. And on top of that, there's pressure at the crib if they don't pass, because everybody in the family is expecting them to graduate. You see what I'm saying? That's almost like a living hell, if you ask me. You gotta impress, or you gotta not disappoint your loved ones, but then you know while you're sitting up in that class that it's not, what is this for? Why are we learning this? What is this necessary, you know? The teachers might be all on the kids and all that. I know they was on me when I was young. They was like writing me up all the time, and, you know. Yeah, I got kicked out, not because I was not academically inclined, but because of life, outside reasons, outside of school and stuff, but, you know, trickled into school. And I might do a video on that, I might not. I don't want to get on here and bury my soul on YouTube, but I do want to chop it to you about education, though, and how that's very important for shaping the mind of the young. You see? Very important. That dictates what the future will bring to us as a people. Not selfishly like, yo, I want my kid to succeed so that he can kick back something to me. Nah, not like that. I'm talking about as a people, as a tribe, whatever tribe you subscribe and are part of. No hate, all love, you know? I'm not here to judge your tribe or who you identify with or as. I'm just saying education is important. You know what I'm saying? To achieving all that you seek to achieve. You know what I'm saying? Very important. However you identify, or with whom you identify. You feel me? It's very important. Because again, just saying things out your mouth doesn't mean you're educating somebody, and then vice versa. Because somebody's hearing what you're saying out your mouth doesn't mean they're being educated by what you're saying. You know? Because I try to get on here and be as transparent as possible. I don't try to use too many big words or nothing like that, and nothing against people who have a vast vocabulary. I'm not tripping. I'm just saying, I want to say it plain, because if I'm trying to relay something to you, get you to understand what I'm saying, not necessarily buy into or assimilate to my view, I'm just saying I want you to understand where I'm coming from. You know what I'm saying? I have to be able to relay it and educate you in a way, as far as my understanding is concerned. Not like I got the higher understanding and I'm just, teaching you everything. Nah, I'm talking about when it comes to understanding me, for me to educate you on my perspective, I have to say it so you understand and can relate. Not like I'm speaking down and condescending, you know what I'm saying? But why say super fragilistic, expialidocious when you could have just said, yeah, cool, Like, for real. Why would you say all that and you could have just said bomb? And I'm saying that to say, you have to understand that form of education. You have to understand or be able to, process that which you're being educated to, You have to be able to process it. I feel like I said, going back to the school, the systems, you know what I'm saying? What they're teaching the kids, the reason they're not staying focused, at least me, let me speak on me. I can't speak about every kid, because there are kids that are getting honor roll and have good grades. Nothing against those kids. Those are good minds, you know what I'm saying? It's just that if you put something else in that mind that'll benefit the rest, you know what I'm saying? That effort, that fervor, that mental capacity will go in the right direction, as opposed to letting them dictate how that mental capacity is used. You feel me? So all love to the youngsters that's getting good grades and stuff like that. But as parents, let me say this too before I get to the point. Just bear with me real quick. Don't shun the young one that's not doing good in school and then praise the one that is doing good in school. Because as I said to you, all they do is feed a bunch of their facts to your kid, and all they have to do is remember it, put it on the page, and then submit it and get the grade. That's it. That's all it is. At least when I was going to school, and I'm not like an old head to the point where I got, you know what I'm saying? Back in my day, nah, it ain't that, because I'm a 90s baby, so, it's been some time, but not that much time. So I don't think that much has changed, because the country's still the same, you know what I'm saying? So it's still the same thing. So what I'm saying is, at least when I was going, I'm knowing, bro, that what's being fed to me, you know what I'm saying, is not graspable, So me making a good grade should not be a reason I'm praised in that system. The young one might have the sharper, instincts, intuitiveness, but because they're not excelling in their system, don't shun the little one, They might need a different way to be educated, a different kind of education. It's all love. Both minds are beautiful. You feel me? So I say that to say, when it comes to the educational system, I feel like the reason that the young ones cannot stay focused is because they know that what they're being fed is not relatable. It's not being put in a way where they can digest it and enjoy what they're digesting. It's like they're being force-fed BS. Who wants to eat BS? Viewer discretion advised, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm telling you. Who wants to eat that? And that's what they force-feeding our young, So until we take control with benefit in heart, you know what I'm saying, with sincerity, take control, or at least present a different perspective as far as education is concerned, when they turn out to be whatever they turn out to be in society, you know what I'm saying, they sellouts, whatever term you want to subscribe, and you wonder, where did he get this philosophy? Why is he acting like that? Damn, he don't even be around the neighborhood no more. He don't come through. He skated to where them people live at, and now he just out there all the time. Like, damn, if you wondering, like, man, that's what it is. Because, again, they use the education to divide us. They gave us more instead of holding it back from us like they did our ancestors, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel as though those that share my heritage, our ancestors, had they had education as far as when the Europeans came, they just changed all the codes, flipped everything upside down. And, you know, books, all that, we were spiritual people. You know what I'm saying? We living off the land. You feel me? We're not taking everything so major. We're not trying to set up a system as far as bureaucracies and, you know what I'm saying? And industry, you know, we trading off the land, you know? And they came in and I guess you can call that civilization, modern Western civilization is what they brought to us, you know what I'm saying? Whether we wanted to receive it or not, but that's what they brought. And I'm telling you, had we been on the same playing field with them as far as the education and the way they were operating, laws, you know what I'm saying, amendments, you know, property clauses and preambles, like the Constitution, that we've been able to sit in the room, like on some spook by the door kind of thing, not like a sellout, you know, Steven dude. You know, Django, y'all seen Django? You know, the Steven dude, not like that kind of person sitting in the room. I'm talking about a spook by the door kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? And had we, you know what I'm saying, been able to been involved in the process, we would have been educated enough to not be, you know, held down like that. And it also would have took courage of heart to have to bust a move to break free like Nat Turner. But that's all in our history. It's everything I'm saying everybody should know. But the point being, education is what crippled us then when they kept it from us, and then now it's crippling us because it's like information overload, education overload. So many different, you know. Again, that's why it's important to choose your education, choose what educates you, how you get your knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Because your knowledge dictates your understanding. Your understanding dictates how you proceed in life. So I would ask you, why wouldn't choosing your education be an important thing if that's the case? Assuming you agree with me. Why wouldn't that be the case? You feel me? Because something's going to educate, you're going to be educated one way or the other. Every day you get up, wake up, participate in society, you're being educated one way or the other. So why not choose how you're educated, what you're educated by? If you be on Instagram, if you be on whatever, you be on TikTok, all that kind of stuff. If you be on the social media like that, you feel me? If you watch Netflix, TV, if you go out into the world, have conversations with people, you know what I'm saying? You're being educated in some way. But if you allow everything to be fed to you, you know what I'm saying? You never cook the meal. It almost takes the value out of that meal, you know what I'm saying? Because somebody cooked it for you and fed it to you forcefully. But again, you can either believe or agree or feel me or not, you know what I'm saying? I'm just sharing with you a different perspective, you know? Yeah, very important. The educational system too, let me say this part and I might go ahead and slide up out of here, you know what I'm saying? But check me out. The educational system as it stands, right? There are some positive within the institutions that are, you know, out now, like that are here now. That's why it's important to make of the education what you will make it beneficial, you know? So I'm saying that to say, when the youngsters are in school and they're learning that perspective, you see what I'm saying? That can be fueled if there's a different perspective to match or combat that perspective, you know? So that actually is a way that you can bounce ideas off of your young one, you know, to see where their head is, see how they feel about things. But you should also always be partial in that education for your young one's benefit, or for your tribe member, your family member's benefit, your loved one's benefit. Always be partial because, again, education is what you make it. You could choose how you educate those you love. So why not let it be from a partial place out of love? You're not lying. It's your perspective. It's how you see it. And all the documentations that's been handed down to us, we cannot really rely on those because they've been lying for so many years. So why would you just take their education as the standard and then not provide an harmonious partiality, you know what I'm saying? A perspective that our young ones could soak up. So I'm saying that's a good conversation starter. What you learned today, you know? Oh, they told you that? Man, you ever thought about however you want to chop it, however you feel like history really went, for the sake of boosting their morale, you feel me? If you have something negative to say, please don't say it to the young one. Just let them get that watered down education they get. Don't add with venom, you know what I'm saying? But add for the sake of building the young one. Do you feel me? That's elementary, middle, high school, college too. You know what I'm saying? College be on the funny thing too. You know what I'm saying? With the bogus info. But it's all in how you use it though. It's all in how you use it, bro. It's all in how you use it. I'm gonna keep saying that. As long as I'm breathing and I'm getting my education, everything is what you make it. Everything. Education is no different. You see? There are some things like math. They have to learn basic math. Our young ones have to learn basic math to operate in the world. That's a good part of the educational system, you know? I'm still in favor of flipping it upside down. If you want to call that reform or whatever you want to call it. I feel like we should have our own. There's people out there trying to do independent schools, and I agree with that concept just for us, just for the sake of tribe building, nation building, family building, you know? And that's what I'm talking about. That's more in line, along the lines of what I'm saying as far as you deciding what type of education the young ones are receiving, what they're being fed, you see? Because somebody's gonna water the seeds, you feel me? Either you're gonna come with water, with purity, or they gonna come with piss, you know? Or whatever else they can sprinkle on the seed, you know? Why not pick up, you know what I'm saying? Pick up the role of the gardener and stop letting everybody, you know, plant wicked seeds in our garden. Like for real. And that's what it boils down to. Because you could believe whatever you want to believe if you really think about it. Think about this the last thing I'm gonna say. I know I said that before. Religion is education. Nothing against anybody's religion. Everybody believe what they believe. But when you go in there, I think religion was supposed to be based in spirituality. And we are spiritual people. But then there are people who infiltrated and destroyed it, misconstrued it, tainted it, you know? And then when you go in there, the words are the education, what's being told to you, how it's being interpreted to you. You feel me? Because a feeling, a spirit, you know what I'm saying, is a spirit. You're going off the vibe, the feeling. There are no words to that feeling. Once you put the words to that feeling, now you're talking about educating as far as the perspective on that spirit that's felt, you know? And if I'm documenting how I feel in that spirit, you know, then it's according to my interpretations. And then when I say the words out loud, that's my education. Do you feel what I'm saying? But the verbal and the words are the education. That's how you receive it. Do you feel me? So I feel like religion is just that. You go into that spot, you sit down, whoever preaches and speaks about what they speak about, even the imam, you know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's no disrespect though, because you have to believe in something outside of yourself. I believe in that. Faith is very important, depending on how it's used, how it's channeled, you know? When misused, it's terrible. It leads to mindless entities, people, you know what I'm saying? It leads to, you know, brainless, blind, mindless, when mishandled. But faith, just in general, having faith in something outside of you, something, that's important to keep going in this crazy world, you know, in this life we live in. Very important. You see what I'm saying? And because you got to think, when we came over here, and then those of us who were already over here were over here, we didn't have any of all the stuff we see that things are the way they are now. You know what I'm saying? How I guess it's, again, the modern civilized Western society. You know what I'm saying? We had tribal codes. You know what I'm saying? We had tribal principles and morals, understandings, you know? They came with the laws, the jails, this person watching over this person to make sure it goes according to the plan, because they came over here and had to make it work over here. So what I'm telling you is, what I'm saying is, when it comes to us and our origins over here in this country, you see what I'm saying? We were spiritual. We went off the energy, the vibe. They came and documented. They brought documentation, recording, you know what I'm saying? To share to the next. Because I believe they got that tradition from us as well. I think they realized while we was in tribes, how we used to pass down stories of the past. Excuse me. We used to pass down stories of the past, you know? Griots, however you want to call it, whatever tongue, language you want to say it in, that was us. We used to pass down to the young, educating the young on our pride, our heritage, from which we come. They saw that, observed that, you know what I'm saying, and then did what they did. I'm saying all that to say, church now is an outgrowth, or religious institutions, period, is an outgrowth of that tainted education. Our spirit documented. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that right there. That's what I got for you today. Another video coming soon, because I got some more of it. You know I'm coming, staying consistent, staying persistent. And I hope your day is a great day today. I hope you make it the best. All love. Yes.
If you come plan to stay, won't want to lose today. So, who do you choose today? Do you want to lose a game? Make your next move your best move. Gotta know the rules to play. Even the fool has the truth to state. I could tell you got crucial taste. All on my face, that ain't no mistake. Won't hesitate to break you off a piece. A piece of me is all you need to see. I'm the one with whom you want to be. Picture perfect, a queen next to me. Mirror, mirror, no question, your reflection of me.